Support players hold the key to their team's enjoyment during every match they play in every hero shooter pretty much ever conceived. That key is healing. Without it, no one's having fun. This is probably why your team tends to get mad at you more often than not if you play support, since they're not having fun. So they're gonna freak out. Now, ideally, this wouldn't happen, but it's going to, especially since people are human, and a lot of folks aren't rational humans to begin with. That being said, support role usually invites the most ego-driven, mentally fragile, and inconceivably clueless people, given how it tends to have very easy characters to play that are also absurdly impactful. Without heals, you don't get to play the video game. Whoa there, Mr. Video Man. If supports are so important, why don't DPS and tank players turn around and give them help? That's called peeling. Fair assessment, fair observation. We'll ignore the fact that most of the time people don't communicate to begin with. That goes for everyone, but especially supports when they're getting dove constantly. You don't really ever hear a, help, help, they're beating the brakes off me, assistance, assistance. That's not going on at all. So ignore that. The best form of peeling is healing, because even if your tank and DPS turn around and help you, you'll likely still die, and they may assassinate the person that got you. That's a trade. Versus your support teammate could help keep you alive, and the person going after you doesn't even have to die. No one has to turn around except for that one support. They could heal you, and you could heal them or the rest of the team, and you're still fine. But we don't ever have that conversation because that involves support players looking to put some accountability on their counterpart. But this isn't about that. This is about tribalism. In this case, roles. It's supports versus DPS. Tanks, they're kind of in their own lane right now, although I'm a tank player, so I'll be talking a little bit of trash about supports. I play support too. What's insane to me is anytime you give slack or you talk about a role in a negative light, obviously you've never played it, because you would never talk about the role you play. This goes for more than just games, by the way. This is a low-level way of thinking that drives me insane. But we'll go ahead and keep it about games. If you play support, if you knew what support was like, bro, you wouldn't be saying that. If you happen to play support and you're good at it, folks will say, but that doesn't matter. Just because you play it doesn't mean you understand the trials and tribulations that be, brother. It's far more complex than you could possibly perceive. There's no winning, because two sides of the zero accountability coin dictate that you can't have a point. Because they know better. Obviously speaking, the majority of players who can't climb out of metal ranks know better than you, for sure. Yeah, you don't understand. You don't understand what's happening in those diamond and plat lobbies. You just seriously cannot begin to fathom. Sure, you're Grandmaster in Overwatch 2 back before they had Challenger rank, so it's essentially like one of the highest ranks in the game. Sure, you hit Eternity in Marvel Rivals, playing sometimes support, but you wouldn't understand what happens in Platinum and Diamond. It's unclimbable. The only way to understand what supports go through is to play the role for an entire season, which doesn't make any sense. That's pure masochism. Why would I do that? First of all, I can get Celestial in probably 2 weeks max, playing every now and again. I wouldn't have to play a whole season to get to a higher rank. And plus, Celestial is a lot higher rank than the vast majority of people who are saying support is the most difficult thing, or talking about all the issues with it. And there are problems with the role, don't get me wrong. Playing against Dive is absolutely boring. It's been boring. I hated Dive in Overwatch 1. I stopped playing support when Dive was a big thing. Didn't enjoy it. I played Orisa into Dive instead, which is a solution that people don't think about. You don't have to play support. Someone else will do it. There are folks that will still enjoy it. Sometimes you may start to do it, but there's no reason to force yourself to play support every game, as if there's not potentially 4 other support players, if mains, in that lobby at the exact same time, which is another thing that happens. You get folks that are support mains that are flexing to tank and DPS that aren't very good at it, or vice versa, and then they start talking trash to each other. But lo and behold, trash talk is not something that's unique to support players. It's not something that only affects them. I've had some egregious things being said to me no matter what role I play in the game, because it turns out that you're not holier than thou because you're on support. You're not just a nice person because you chose that. I'm trying to heal people, so obviously my heart's in the right place. No. The one thing holding back most players in general, especially support players currently, isn't their heart, it isn't their mechanics, it is their mental, their mind. The way they view the game mentally is detrimental to their improvement because they're not looking at what they can do better. Instead, they're looking for everyone they can possibly blame who isn't themselves. And in doing so, they're not finding solutions. They're just finding scapegoats. Whoa, guys, our tanks are garbage. Our DPS are garbage. GG, tank DPS diff. And when it happens to support players, it's the same deal. Support diff. If you don't try and propose solutions during the match, then how can you be upset whenever the inevitable defeat comes your way since you didn't try and change anything? But I've noticed a lot that support players offer sometimes the worst ideas. They just want to get rid of something, for instance. Let's say I'm playing a character in the game. Get off that character right now. It's not helping. Actually, here's an example right now. Here's an example.
Get off Junker Queen now. Okay, you already did. Good. Stop. Just hook literally anything. I don't care what. Just fucking. And you go back to Junker Queen. God, you're fucking terrible. You're literally just
His bait died.
GG's. That is probably the worst way to ask someone to swap characters in a hero shooter. It's condescending, and there's no real logic behind why you want me to swap in the first place. We lost one team fight. Junker Queen must be the issue. We can't win with this character. But we did win. Now, just because you're nice about things doesn't mean folks will be reasonable. He's on trackpad? What the Oilers. Lucio, can you play Kiriko? I think we need like giga heals for Reinhardt.
Bro, do you know how Reinhardt works? We kind of need a Lucio.
This Reinhardt, we need heals.
Well, maybe because
I want Lucio.
I think the problem is that I have more heals than you do. That's the problem.
You can just hear the pretentiousness in their voice. I wasn't saying to swap Kiriko because the Lucio's doing terrible. I noticed my Reinhardt inting in like an absolute buffoon, and we could use a Kiriko to TP through the walls and Suzu him and keep him alive. Could they both possibly die? Sure. He's going to die regardless, though. It becomes a 5v6, making it more difficult. So why not potentially turn the tides by giving him more assistance? That was the whole idea there. But instead it becomes, you don't have enough healing. You shouldn't be saying anything. If I had more healing, it then becomes, you don't have enough healing more than me. You should be healing more. Meanwhile, my tank died in the first 20 seconds of the match. But that's what I mean when it comes to mentality. They don't really think logically, the folks that are like this, not all support players. By the way, when I say support players, I'm not talking about every person who's ever touched support role. It's the people that act in this manner. That's who I'm referring to, if the shoe fits, essentially. But man, the reason why I'm making this video is because I saw these clips and it reminded me of just how we have not evolved as players. It is the same thing 2 years later. History repeats itself, man. It was wild. But what can you expect when no one wants to change? Anyway, have a good day.